logistics of this crossover, which is twice as large this year, with 4 shows. So I just want to get your take on it.
It goes exponentially, by the way. So it's not twice as large. It's like 32 times.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like talk more about that and just like how crazy it is, and also maybe satisfying to put all these threads together.
It's not crazy. The first year was crazy. The first year was crazy because people just tried to do it. Business as usual. Steven will go one spot, we'll go the other spot. But I remember Flash was ahead of us. And I read episode 307 of Arrow, which was going to be taking place concurrent with episode 108 of Flash, in terms of our filming schedule. And I read 307 of Arrow expecting that it was going to be very Colton heavy, or maybe it would be a Lance flashback, or something. Because I knew that myself and David and Emily were the people that were going to Central City. And yet, we were all over the episode. I can't remember the specifics of it, but it barely had, Lance wasn't in it. It barely had any of Colton. And it was like, by the way, I sometimes vacillate between real character names and people in real life. And so it was just like, it didn't seem like there was a ton of planning necessarily between the shows. And then last year was a bit of a step in the right direction, but it was a little bit of the tail wagging the dog, so to speak, because Legends was shooting their pilot and had built their schedule weeks in advance without any consideration of Flash or Arrow, which again is not their priority. They're the ones doing their pilot. God bless you. This year, Melissa is, it is a 4-way crossover insofar as it begins at the end of Supergirl's hour, but it really was her as a visitor and then a 3-way crossover between Arrow, Flash, and Legends. So everyone got together this year and they made a schedule, and our first AD who sort of put together that schedule, Ken Shane, handed me this big piece of paper that was just 5 straight weeks of where I was going each day. And it was hard work, and I didn't have a day off for 5 weeks, but I mean, there was a spirit of teamwork this year that made it palatable.
So it's a big milestone for any show. Can you speak a little bit about what that means to you personally and preview a little bit about what the episode actually is?
Well, to explain the 100th episode is impossible because it is such a radical departure from anything that we have ever done on the show, and we've done a lot because we've done 100 episodes. But we utilize the fantastical elements that we bring in on the Flash and carry through to Legends of Tomorrow with the present day, with the present day storyline, to create something for the 100th episode of the show that is not a flashback, it's not a flash forward, it's something else entirely, and it basically gives us license to do whatever we want and to show some things that we'll never be able to show on the show, to have some characters interact that we'll never be able to interact on the show again, probably, and and just it was there was a very therapeutic moment for my character in the episode towards the end, where I get to say goodbye to people that I never got the chance to say goodbye to. And when you mix that together with the idea of doing a 100th episode and the sense of accomplishment that came with that, which was much greater than I ever anticipated it would be. I mean, people ask me all the time to sort of put the past 5 years in perspective in terms of we started as one show, we are now 4 shows, and in a universe that has developed on network. I never have the ability to see the macro of what we've done. It's because I'm always in the weeds so much. But there was really a moment on the 100th episode where I took a deep breath and was like, this is really cool. And we sort of went around and looked at all the different people that had been there since the beginning, and shared stories, and it was very, very cool.
You talked a little bit about Dolph Lundgren coming in, and I know that Mark had increased his episode count once he saw some of the stuff coming back, and kind of what we're going to get to see. Obviously, he's a legend.
Yeah, he is. He's it's interesting watching someone that that has sort of cut their teeth in film walk on to a 23 episode a year television show with 14-hour days, because he just moves at his own pace, and it's not indulgent. He when he came to set, he knew his stuff. Not that I expected anything less. He was very respectful. He asked a lot of questions. He clearly done his homework, but it's like Dolph moves the way that he moves, and he's very, very thoughtful, and is contemplates his lines, and he's been great so far. But it's a real change of pace, and I do think that it would have been a missed opportunity in the last year of these flashbacks to not have a really worthy adversary. And we found that in Dolph, which is why he'll be, around for a while. And it's been a blast to work with him as well. Vigilante's another episode. We have a lot of these episodes where it's kind of Oliver holding up a mirror a little bit, and seeing whether or not what he's doing is having an impact. And the thing that I like about the episode is that he learns that even if it's not going as quickly as he wants, they really are on the right path.
Tell us about the new characters of Tina or Talia.
Not a lot. Tina is a character that the team tracks down, who is operating in another city, and that happens once we're back from our break, sort of 5:10, 5:11 time, and I think that she could be a really cool character, and as for Talia is we learn about her before we meet her, and she is I think our gateway to really accelerating the flashback storyline and buttoning up that list that I spoke about earlier.